What's up, guys? I wanted to return with this scope real quick because I always talk about cleaning and I talk about the 5 steps that's involved with chemical cleaning: time, temperature, concentration, contact, and friction. And I always say that if one of those steps are shortened or one of those steps are skipped, then cleaning is not effective. So let me break this down to you. Time, okay? It's the time. Time is twofold here: the time it takes you to clean the scope and the time that that scope is in contact with the chemistry. That time is crucial, whether it's the time suggested by the manufacturer or the time suggested by the chemistry, that it should remain in contact with the device at all times. That time is crucial because it loosens soils and allows for easier cleaning for the friction. Temperature, the temperature in which you prepare your soak water. Your rinse water temperature is important, and your soak temperature is important. Rinsing initially should be with cool water so that you don't coagulate any soils onto the surface. Your soaking temperature should be according to the manufacturer of the chemistry of what efficacy and temperature range is that chemistry able to be useful in, right? So if it's stating 90 to 120 or 56 to 98 degrees, that's what your water temperature should be with chemistry to effectively clean your scope. That's the optimal temperature for that chemistry to work. That's your temperature, time, temperature. Your concentration, how much how much chemistry are you adding to the water? Is it 1/4 ounce per gallon? Is it one ounce per gallon? Are you using 10 gallons of water? Are you doing 15 gallons of water to submerge a little scope? Or are you using just 5 gallons of water? What's that number? It's not going to be the same number all the time. It's going to be the same number, but it's not going to be, if you're measuring by hand, it's not going to be the same number all the time. If you have a titration unit, then best that way. But your concentration is important. And I say that because if your scope has been pre-treated with another chemistry and you're adding that chemistry to a different chemistry that you're adding in the water, you're mixing chemicals, and you may change the property of that chemical, so it may not be as effective as you thought it would be, and wonder why isn't it doing its job. Well, you mixed it with another chemical and you changed its chemistry altogether. Water is water, and if you add Kool-Aid, it's Kool-Aid. It's no longer water. When they tell you drink a gallon of water a day, just because you added Kool-Aid to it and you say, oh, I'm drinking water. No, it's Kool-Aid, brother. You didn't add sugar to it, but it's still Kool-Aid. It's not considered water. Your body doesn't treat it the same, so it's different. All right? Time, temperature, concentration, contact. What's the contact? The scope should be, or the device should be, completely submerged in the solution that's used to clean and soak. Full submersion. It should touch every part of the scope. So why is that important? Because I've seen so many people take a scope, put it into a solution, and say, okay, it's soaking. Is it really soaking? You got complete contact? Yeah, you see it's underwater, right? Yeah. What about the air that's trapped in that channel? Did you fill up a syringe full of chemistry and flush it in there until no air bubbles are seen coming out? If you do see air bubbles in there, that means there's air pockets in there. And that air pocket is not doing any justice to the cleaning of that scope, to the soaking of that scope. It's not cleaning yet. Okay, you're allowing that soil to still dry because there's no chemistry actually touching it. So make sure that when you have a channeled device, when you're soaking it, that you're actually priming it and allowing chemistry into those channels. Time, temperature, concentration, contact, and now the part of cleaning that a lot of people like to sleep on: the friction. Soaking is not cleaning, guys. I'll say it again. soaking is not cleaning because this is sitting in a tub of chemistry. It's not being cleaned. Nope. I don't care what you say. We can argue this all you want. That is not cleaning. Cleaning is taking a physical, I'm not going to use my Brillo pad, but applying friction to the device to remove the soils that the chemistry loosened up. Okay, whether it's a low linting cloth, getting all the surfaces contact all the surfaces of that device, all the little crevices, the exterior and then the interior. If you're using for the interior, you're going to use the appropriate size brush for the interior. Now, this ain't long enough and this ain't the right size, but you want to make sure that when you go into the scope is that you can come out one end and see that brush come out. When you see that brush, you want to remove the soil. Follow the IFU. Is it a one-time pass, or can you pull that brush back through the channel, come out to the other side, and do the same thing? All this while underwater constantly until no visible or invisible soil can be seen. Invisible soil you can't see anyway, but no visible soil is seen. That is the friction that needs to be applied to the cleaning process. And then finally, you got your 5 steps. You're clean, but you're not clean until you rinse it off, right? So it should be 6, right? The 6th step is the rinsing, right? When you wash your body, there's soap. You scrubbed it on you. You just don't walk out the shower, right? You got to take that soap off, right? And the same thing. Take the soap and the soil off of the scope. A really thorough rinse. Soaking it in water is not considered rinsing. That's just another soap, guys. So you want to do a free rinse of the device externally and internally, because there's still soils and solutions in there that you don't want to dry out. So if you have channels, however many channels you have, this actually has 1 channel but 2 entries, so both entries have to be treated differently. Brush down here, big brush in the channel, big brush in there as well, because this actually bottlenecks. So you want to go in there and make sure that you're cleaning and applying friction to those channels. And if you can look at this, there is a gap between this piece and the body. So there's soils that can be trapped in there. So make sure you put a little bristle brush on there as well to make sure that you apply friction so that you can properly clean and get rid of the visible and invisible soils. That's how the 5 or 6 steps apply to the cleaning process. All right, guys, as always, stay true to yourselves, keep it 100, and peace.